All right, good morning, everybody. Hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic Friday and are ready for what should be the end of a choppy, tumultuous, frustrating, challenging, right? I don't know what other adjective I could possibly use to describe this week's price action, but it has been a slog out there, right? Happy with how essentially trading has gone this week, right? Really managed my mental capital here pretty well. Pretty happy to be nicely green here on the week. And really today's priority is to make sure that whatever happens here today, I don't give away that progress, right? So it's been, we've had to work really hard. I mean, I've said it a couple times this week, but it's felt like I've had to work for a living, which is a relatively rare feeling as a trader, at least for myself. And not going to allow myself to ruin my week on a Friday. Yesterday, fantastic day, right? We got a great little bounce play on NQ, and then my Fly Eagles Fly put an absolute number on the Commanders. So awesome Thursday, right? I mean, that's about as good as things go. So from my perspective, right, today is all about controlling the variables I can't control, right? So making sure I'm not rushing into any decisions, being patient and then some, right, on my entries, and really understanding that at some point this chop is going to end. These challenging conditions are going to end, and I need to basically just put myself in a situation where I am surviving before I can thrive again, right? So what does that mean fundamentally? Well, it just means that I'm going to have to take my base hits, right, while they're there and be obsessive over protecting my profits. Probably a little bit more obsessive, right, than I have been over the last 2 weeks or so. And just really focusing on closing my trades as my P&L is increasing instead of letting trades go from green to red. Now, in general, we have potentially the start of some trending price action here, or a potential post-presidential pullback. That's a nice little alliteration. And we're going to look for some decent follow through here this morning if we can find it. Now, like I said, if I don't get any action, if I don't get any opportunities, if I don't do anything, no worries. I'll be happy to walk away up, $750 per account. That's fine. Not the end of the world. And just putting myself in a situation where I'm not feeling greedy, right? And B, setting myself up so that when I have my dinner tonight or I wake up tomorrow morning and go for a hike, I'm not just like sitting and festering, right, on the price action that was. So priority number one, make sure I don't do anything stupid, right? Make sure I kind of protect myself from the worst versions of myself and set myself up, right, for a relatively successful trading day. Now, I'm not here to force anything. I'm not here to rush anything. I'm not here to overtrade. And going to try to set myself up, right, to be very successful this AM. With that being said, right, obviously, this has not been an easy trading week, right? There's been a lot of chop. There's been a lot of indecision. This has been a market that wants to create max pain before it ultimately does make its move. And so it's about honestly buying myself time to make decisions and not rushing or jumping into anything and getting faked out, right, as much as I have been. Right, this has been a week where win rate has been kind of irrelevant, and associating my sort of self-value as a trader or sort of my expectations here as a trader based on how often I win kind of tricks me from actually seeing price action the way that I want. So fundamentally, it's all about remaining in control, in trusting the process, right? In allowing myself to play the game of probabilities instead of playing the game of emotions. And when I play that emotional kind of roller coaster, right, and I choose to get onto that ride, then I inevitably just set myself up to feel a tremendous amount of pain to feel as if I'm not good enough, right? To feel as if XYZ, right, is preventing me from being the trader that I want. What the market is unbelievable at doing, it's arguably its defining characteristic, is that it is incredible at pointing out to me what I am most self-conscious about, right? It is incredible at exaggerating my emotional fears, and it is incredible at making me feel like I need to rush my goals. So if I know that's how the market wants to make me behave, right? How it wants to influence my decisions, how it wants to do X, Y, Z, then I have to set myself up to fight back against some of those feelings, right? And the counter to that is sizing down on trades, right? It's on being more deliberate with my entries, on being more deliberate with my take profits, from trying to talk myself out of trades versus talking myself into trades. And just in general, understanding that if I am consistent in the quality of my decisions, if I'm consistent in the obsession over following my rules, if I am consistent in approaching each day by trying to be the best version of myself, then the P&L will simply take care of itself. Now, doesn't mean that every day is going to be a monster win, but it should mean that I won't allow days to turn into monster losses and to create scenarios where like I blow up, right? Or create scenarios where I have all my eggs in one basket, needing to get lucky or needing this outcome or needing that outcome just so that I feel alive, right? I don't trade because I want to feel like I'm accomplished or anything along those lines, right? I don't trade to feed my ego and tell myself how good I am. I trade to make money. And the only way to make money in this game is to be able to play it within sort of the long-term lens, right? So play it with the idea that I'm making decisions that are best for me tomorrow, right? The decisions that's best for me next week, next month, next year, right? A decade from now, and not allowing those short-term impulses to trick me into chasing what feels best in the moment. I think we've all experienced this at some point in our careers, especially when trading. But what feels best for us in the moment is rarely what is best for us long term. And the more that I truly believe that sentiment, right? The more that I truly believe that that is the reality, the easier it is for me to be successful, right? The easier it is for me to actually take a step back, play the long-term game, and to set myself up to be as successful as I want to be. So my challenge, right, that I would get everyone to focus on here today, to make a long story short, is think about what your why is, right? Why do you want to trade? Why are you interested in playing this game? Why are you willing to commit all this time and energy towards the market? And yes, I'm sure it's financial, but there's a greater reason behind our financial decisions, right? We want to spend more time with our families. We want to have more freedom over our time. We want to be able to, live up to our potential, right? Whatever it might be. And we need to think about how our day-to-day decisions impact our why. And there is kind of like a trap version of those decisions. And then there's a set of decisions that actually helps us get there and accomplish those objectives more and more and more. I've also said this, I'm sure 1,000 times before, but my trading transformed and I've got a lot more consistent long term when I stopped playing for the biggest intraday win. When I started optimizing my decisions to lose small instead of trying to win big, I started outperforming myself and outperforming the market. I stopped having those 2 steps forward, 3 steps back type scenarios. And instead, it was 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 3 steps forward, 1 step back, 1.5 steps forward, right? 1 step back. And just embracing that mindset and getting okay with those realities makes it so much easier for you to actually accomplish what your objective is. So that's the challenge to everyone, right? Are your day-to-day actions actually helping you get closer to your long-term goals, or are they pushing you further away? And if you're not where you want to be as a trader, then I would probably suggest that the majority of your decisions are putting you further and further and further away from your long-term objectives versus closer. And yesterday we saw, right, that if we focus on losing small, we think about our risk management and we buy deep pullbacks, that our win rate's kind of overrated, right? Where it doesn't matter if you have a 90% win rate or a 33% win rate. You can still be profitable and you can still make a pretty significant amount of money. So that for me is what I want to focus on. I want to focus on the quality of my decisions, focus on the quality of my risk management. I want to focus on how I react when the market doesn't give me exactly what I want. And maybe that means, right, letting a loss be a small loss instead of becoming a max loss. Maybe that means closing a trade before I get all the P&L that I want, but just locking in a nice win. Maybe that means I sit on hands, right, and avoid taking trades. Maybe that means I buy myself time to make a decision instead of rushing in and forcing something that isn't there. How I feel what the market should do is rarely the reality of what it is going to do, right? And the second that I need to, or I admit to myself that I need to get lucky, or that, oh my gosh, this has got to move, whatever, then I'm putting myself in situations where I'm already kind of admitting subconsciously that I'm wrong and that I need to do something differently, or that I need to get out of this trade. And the more and more I can listen to those subconscious clues, right, then the closer I am towards realizing the actual truth of how price action is moving. Being in a trade or looking for a trade between market hours is an incredible form of a bias, right? Where I rarely think that a trade is going to be the one that blows me up, right? I don't think I've ever taken a trade thinking I'm going to lose on this position, right? Or at least not as my first thought. So it's really all about understanding that if I plan out for surviving my worst case scenario, if I plan out defending myself from the worst versions of myself, and I build everything around that, then I will survive, right? I will come out of any market conditions with my head held high and my P&L at all-time highs. And that's exactly the priority, right? That is exactly what I want to focus on. That is exactly what I want to optimize for. And I'm not trying to optimize for some short-term dopamine hit or rush or thrill or excitement, right? The market will give me that inevitably if I just follow my rules and I play the game that I know I can play. But if I choose to skip steps and I choose to, I got to accomplish my objectives here all in one day or all in one trade or all in one moment, then I'm almost guaranteed to set myself up for failure. So today's going to be different, right? Today's going to be a day where I think about what is my worst case scenario first. I protect myself from that first. I'm defensive, not aggressive. And when I'm defensive and when I'm focusing and forcing myself to confront those demons first and plan on how I'm going to solve for protecting them, then inevitably they don't rear their ugly head, or they don't rear their ugly head as often. No trader, no, regardless of how good you are, will win on 100% of their decisions. And if we are not fully accountable to ourselves over the quality of those decisions, then it won't matter how often the market rewards us, because our losers will always be bigger than our winners, and we will never find the progress that we crave. So let's get after it here, team. I'm excited for what should hopefully be an interesting end to the week. We've got a relatively strong indication of trending price action here this morning. So let's get after it. Let's absolutely crush today's session and let's behave like disciplined individuals, right? Let's not succumb to that dopamine rush. Let's focus on trading our technique and go from being gamblers to being the house. All right, so first things first, we got the economic calendar here today, and it's a relatively busy session. So we had a lot of stuff. 8:30, we got some more Fed speak, which has been the theme of the week here today. And then we got some 10 a.m. data, and then a flurry of Fed speakers here later this morning. So we'll see how the day shapes up, right? We'll see how things come together. And maybe, again, right, this is a day where we might have to be a little bit more patient than we want. So let's start mapping things out. What's the count here on ES? Let's start there and then go from there. And good morning to all DTR members. Hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic start to the day. And good morning to all DTR guests. Hope you're all enjoying the stream. And yeah, let's have ourselves a great session. And yeah, Jack, spot on, right? 3 for 3 here to the downside. Strong indication of trending price action here this morning, and really impressive volume there yesterday, right? Increasing outlier volume, broke through that sort of lower trend line, and now we're kind of in that post-election bit of PA. And obviously, right, we're hoping for a clean downside continuation here today. And if we don't get that narrative, right, then this is a good opportunity for bulls to step back in and defend some of these lows. Now, short term here today, because it is a 3 for 3 with a really impressive volume standard, I do not have a bull case, right? This is telling me trending price action here lower, and I'm looking for trend continuation versus trend reversal. I'd rather catch the middle of the wave, right, than try to obsess over hunting tops and bottoms, because those happen from a good, consistent process, not by trying to catch a falling knife. And so today is all going to be about looking for either high volume rejections, right, off of like 59.60, or looking for breakdowns, right, towards, 59.30, and then going beyond. So 59.30, right? Maybe a path towards 59.9. And then, that's there, right? And then I guess in theory, we'd have it mapped out towards Wednesday's lows. But that would be a pretty punchy move if we do get there. Cool. Any questions? Make sense? For sure, Sammy. If I can't get good follow through here today, then this will be a day where I sit on hands and either anticipate that it's going to be a day of consolidation, or right, it's going to be a day where we find short-term support, and then we can be aggressive here to the upside again on Monday. But there's too strong of a volume profile and too consistent of a price action narrative for me to want to fight against what appears to be the short-term trend. We also know that on that Wednesday, the majority of that price action was overnight. And we'll see how strongly, right, they want to defend. If we didn't see a very strong defense here in our overnight price action today, maybe a lot of those participants, right, aren't exactly going to be aggressively defending these lows. And it seems maybe like a lot of the price action that we've seen here in the last week or so is potentially profit taking after that big run up, right? So at some point, I would expect bears to run out of steam and to maybe get stuck. But I think we still got a long way to go before that would be an expectation. Even if we look at like from a daily Bollinger Band perspective, I'd probably think towards that 5,900, right, would be sort of that starting point where I'd anticipate bulls to want to step back in and defend. And in the short term, we've got plenty of space before that happens. So it's kind of like a mean reversion setup. Mean reversion in the middle of that Wednesday's range would be pretty reasonable, but I'm not going to front run a bullish defense until I see that narrative, right? In the same way that I didn't want to be hyper aggressive, looking for a personality change in the market until we broke out of this consolidation range. Now that we've gotten that breakout from the consolidation range, we should be expecting, right, a cleaner narrative here today instead of chop. Obviously, famous last words. Probably going to be the choppiest day of the week. All right, and Q, what's the count? Yeah, 3 for 3 here to the downside. Stronger 3 for 3, right, than what we've seen in the last couple. And again, no real bull case here until I see these bears fail on a daily time frame. So now, right, obviously the biggest concern is that it's a relatively decent sized gap down, right? Same thing like on ES. But a rejection at 29.50. Then break down towards, right? And we're looking down towards like 24. So we're at 2770 right now. So go starting point 2700, 2600, 24. And ideally, right, we see bulls attempt to reclaim control, get stuffed, and then we can break down through these lows. Okay, crude. It's contract roll day here. The roll is starting. So I'm going to stay away from this today. So no trading. Okay. Apple, green candle, decreasing volume, gap down, pretty punchy gap down. So 1 for 3 here to the upside. And so we're still looking, right, for that breakout over, we'll call it 229 now. Right, or a breakdown. It's kind of like a bit of a trend line here. So we probably want to lose that trend line, right, which is like now 220, 250. Okay, Tesla. 1 for 3 here to the downside, right? So you're looking for a breakout back over 331. Or, right, a breakdown here under 309. Okay, Microsoft, little inside bar on increasing volume. Least favorite type of setup. So either got to break out above 430 or lose this trend line right at 419. Okay, Amazon, red candle, decreasing volume, gap down. Pretty decent sized gap down. Higher high, higher lows. And then we're looking 216 breakout. And this potentially be setting up as like a Bollinger Band reversal type setup. And then to the downside here, I'm going to say under 205. Okay. AMD, this is selling off on MCI news, right? Where they might be declaring bankruptcy here. That's the rumor I saw. So it's a 2 out of 3 here to the downside with volume. And possibly a BB reversal type setup. But in general, looking for a breakdown here under, say, 137. Right? Or a retest of like 139 and then breakdown. Hey, good morning, Ben. Okay. NVIDIA, Doji, increasing volume, gap down. So technically a 3 for 3 here to the downside. A weak 3 for 3 would need to lose that trend line. And so we're looking for a breakdown here under 145 and no bull case this morning. Okay, Meta, Doji, green Doji, increasing volume, gap down. Still very much in a similar narrative where it just kind of feels like it's range bound between these trend lines, right? So a rejection off of 600 or a bounce off of 560 continues to be the play here. And everything in between, it's more just a move from trend line to trend line. Okay, Netflix. Okay candle, closed above that Wednesday high on increasing volume. So it's a 2 out of 3 with volume. So this would be a textbook BB reversal or a breakout over 541. Sorry, 841. And then NA here on a bear case. Okay. And then Google, 3 for 3 here to the downside. Can maybe extend this out, right? Bit of a trend line here. So you're looking for a crack under 173.50. And then NA here for a bull side. And then it's a 3 for 3 to the downside. And then VIX hanging out 14.66. So again, not a tremendous amount of fear in the market, right? Which is interesting. As we've seen markets sell off, we haven't really seen VIX increase here a tremendous amount. So that's what makes me feel like it's more profit taking than necessarily trending PA, which is indicating, right, potentially some of that choppy price action because profit taking is a little bit sporadic versus pure momentum. So we'd like to see that relationship kind of sync back up, right? Ideally, VIX gets back up above 15, right? If we're going to have a tremendous bear case. And if it doesn't, or if it continues to drift lower, we can probably anticipate a relatively choppy session. Any questions? Does that make sense? Bitcoin continues to be a lunatic. All right, fantastic. So I'm going to go make myself a cup of coffee, spend a few minutes here visualizing a successful trading day, and then hopefully, right, we've got a nice trend day to take advantage of here this morning. So be back in a few minutes and jump on in a second. All right, so let's get after it here this morning, team, and see how things go. Any questions? Everything makes sense? Understand the plan? All right, I'll take that as a yes. And then today's rule, right, is going to be if my first trade of the day is green, I'm done for the day. If my second trade is red, I'm going to be done for the day. And I'm going to be sizing all my positions so that if I am, red for whatever reason, I don't give away all of my gains, right, from this week. So I had to work really hard here this week, right? Had to have an honest working week, all things considered, right? And so if that's the case, right, I'm not going to allow myself to give back or give away that hard work. We've had to be tremendously disciplined, and we've had to really focus on trusting our technique here this week, and that's not easy. And so I'm not going to give away that progress and trick myself into thinking that, hey, I'm worse, right, than I actually am. All things considered, this has been maybe not a world-class P&L week by any means, but it has been a good week in reinforcing the quality of my process, right? It's reminded me that, hey, if I follow my rules, if I'm deliberate, if I'm specific with what I'm trying to set up for myself, then the results will take care of themselves. And so I'm not going to give away that feeling, right? That for me is more important than anything I might have from a P&L perspective. And that is really, really important to remind myself, right? That, hey, I'm as good as the quality of my systems, right? I'm as good as the quality of my preparation. And I'm not going to abandon that here today just because I want more, right? Or because I don't feel satisfied with the number. P&L is always a lagging indicator. It's never a leading indicator. And I think if I look at my trading here relatively objectively this week, I've done a lot of things that set me up to be very successful from a P&L perspective, right? I've put myself in positions where I'm not taking max losses. I've put myself in positions where I'm closing my trades right before they pull back, right, and stop me out. I've put myself in situations where I've allowed, the flexibility, right, to take more than one shot, right, just because my position sizing has been excellent. So if I repeat those habits on a daily basis, a weekly basis, right, a monthly basis, well, the P&L will be fantastic, right? It'll be incredible. And that for me is incredibly important to realize. If I go to the daily chart here, right, on NQ, for example, and change this, right, and I look at price action from the start of the year to now, so approximately from like here, right, so that dotted line, and then I compare it to my P&L graph. Well, you can kind of see, right, when the market goes higher, right, when it's in trending conditions, I do really, really well, and I take advantage of those conditions. When the market then gets stuck, right, like we have here in the last 10 days or so, the P&L graph gets stuck a little bit, right? So it's understanding that, hey, momentum is a real thing in trading, and the more that I control basically my ability to wait for those clear opportunities, then the better my trading goes. Is that understood, guys? So I don't need to be perfect, right? I don't need to be the world's best trader. I just need to be the best at trusting myself, protecting myself from my bad decisions, and then the market will take care of me, right? So there's times where you thrive, there's times where you survive, and the times where you learn how to survive as a trader set you up to thrive. So still not gonna complain, right? Still making a little bit of money, still doing okay, right? Still finding myself in good situations. But of course, right, the numbers associated with those decisions aren't as incredible as I want them to be, but they're never going to be that, right? The beautiful thing, or maybe the trap with trading, depends on how you want to look at it, is that there is always more opportunity, right? There's always more money to be made. There's always another chance. And tricking myself into thinking I have that chance, or that, hey, this is the time to be aggressive when the market is stuck, I'm setting myself up for failure when I fall for that decision, right? So I'm here to focus on the variables I can control. I think I have an opportunity for some trending PA here today, but I'm not going to rush it, and I'm certainly not going to jump into something just for the sake of feeling alive. And I think I started off the week talking about how it's not me versus the market. It's not me versus Jack. It's not me versus Ben. It's not me versus Warren Buffett. It's not me versus market makers or hedge funds. It's me versus me, right? I am the one who is fully responsible for my success, right? How successful I want to be is ultimately my decision, and how I let my actions match my words. A lot of traders want to be successful, right? Everyone who's in here wants to be successful, but very often people don't let their actions match their words, and words are fundamentally meaningless, right? Hard to trust them when we don't have evidence that we're actually behaving the way that we say we're going to behave, right? So the more that I can say that, okay, I'm going to be disciplined here today, and then I size down my trades, awesome, right? My actions are matching my words. When I say I'm going to wait for trending price action, and then I get, doji, well, then my actions don't match my words, right? So it's really understanding that saying you want to be a profitable trader, saying you want financial freedom, saying you want this, is not enough. And to overcome those easy, natural habits takes a lot of deliberate action. And that's something that most people struggle to do, right? It's the hardest thing to learn as a trader, on to basically committing to not self-sabotaging yourself. 100%, Willard, 100%. Talk minus action is meaningless. I 100% agree. And so if I believe that my actions need to match my words if I want to be successful, then I have to go back, right? Like we started off the day challenging everyone to determine what their why is, right? Why do you want to trade? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do that? What's your long-term objective? And one of my favorite quotes tie this all together is that everyone gets what they want out of the market, right? And believe it or not, and you may not believe this to be true, but some people want to be losers, and they don't want to be losers like that, black and white, but they want the chance of a win, or they want to be rich quickly more than they want to be rich next year, 6 years from now, right? 5 years from now. And so they start to make decisions that are disproportionately skewed towards failure instead of long-term success. And so they get what they want out of the market, right? They get they want the lottery ticket win versus the long-term win. And when we start playing or treating this game like a lottery ticket, well, no one wins the lottery, right? I mean, people do, obviously, but there's a tremendous amount of pain that then gets associated with those wins, right? A vast majority of lottery ticket winners end up going broke, right, within a few years. It's the same thing with traders, right? Even if you have that big win, that thing that makes you feel like you're alive, as if you've done something special, well, the next trade you try to replicate that feeling, you're going to give it all back and then some, right? You're going to go broke. So I'm not here to play the lottery. I'm not here to feel alive. I got better ways of experiencing those emotions. And I'm not here to give myself any excuses over failure, right? So just because I can trade doesn't mean I have to trade. Just because there is action doesn't mean I need action. No one has an edge every single day. No one's going to have a winning day every single day. And so we have to stop expecting ourselves to do that and protect ourselves from the worst versions of ourselves so that we can survive our learning curve and survive our variance. So again, no rush to do anything silly here. We maybe have a chance to go increasing volume on the 3 min. Maybe not. Nope. Just under. And then same thing on ES. So not a ton of action here yet. Which is fine, right? I got no issues with that. If I have to walk away with the 6K week, I'm not going to complain. Or less than that. 3K week. Or 3,500 week. There we go. That's fine, right? Clearly can't do math this morning. I don't know, just go back to something I said earlier. Something that I've been thinking about a lot recently. Kind of going through a bit of a life transition, and been doing a lot of thinking. But you know, someone, or I get asked this all the time. What was like the change in when you decided that things were going to work out for you as a trader, or like, what was the catalyst for becoming profitable? What changed? And what I kind of got sick of, I guess, right, if you want to call it that, is I got sick of playing games where I didn't have an expectation of winning, right? So, like, I'm a pretty bad loser. I've said this before. I hate losing in sports. Like, I hated it growing up. You know, I go play pool on a weekend. Like, I want to be the guy who wins, even if I'm terrible at it. All these things, right? So I think it was when I decided that I was going to stop playing games where I didn't have an edge, and kind of like adopted that mindset in general, that things started going a lot better for me, right? So when I gave up the sports betting, when I gave up playing blackjack, right? When I gave up, you know, making bets with friends that were just like calling people's bluffs on information I didn't know. And adopting that mindset into every element of my decision making, right? Where I was just sick and tired of losing in every element. I think that correlated tremendously to my actual trading, where I made a commitment to myself that I would only take trades where if I behaved that way, I would win, even if it meant that sometimes I would lose, right? And then realizing that a win as a trader isn't necessarily a P&L thing. It's a, did I behave the way that I said I was going to behave? Did I follow my plan, right? Did I create data that I can learn from? Did I, basically create a lesson that I can study and improve? And that for me was a multifaceted decision, right? It was a decision to start tracking all my decisions intraday, to repeat myself here a little bit, right? Okay, here's why I took this trade and why. Here's how that trade made me feel. Here's that, like the trickle down effect to that emotion. And let me create that data, right, that can turn into a win long term. Once I have that data and it became obvious to me what I was good at, what I was bad at, well, every time I did something that I was objectively bad at, right, impulsively trading, not walking away right when I was nicely green on the day, over trading and giving away my gains. Well, more than just that being a P&L hit, right, or degrading my edge, felt like a loss because I could see in front of me, right, I was playing a game where I didn't have an expectation of winning, right? And so if I was truly sick and tired of playing games where I couldn't win, why was I tricking myself into thinking that, hey, I can play this game and it'll be different this time, right? So there's a reason why I trade the hours that I trade. There's the reason why I walk away, even if it means I'm going to stare at a wall until the market opens, right, the next day. That's better than playing games where I'm not expected to win. And I think committing to that and honestly believing it, right? And believing it not just like, you know, how you believe in Santa Claus, but believing on it based on fact, right? Of having the data in front of me made it easy to reinforce those beliefs. Like, I would say now, when I meet new traders and I talk to people and I interact with people who maybe aren't getting the trading success that they want, I am always surprised over how few of those people are actually journaling their trades and journaling their decisions. They are committed to like winging it and hoping that that will be enough when they have no evidence that it actually will be. That always blows my mind. Yeah, I don't think that there's maybe 1 out of 1,000 people can pull that off. And to think that I can be that 1 in 1,000, I don't think I can. I don't think I'm that guy. Yeah, 100%, Jack. Like, if we can't track and study, how are we supposed to get better? Yeah, Kenneth, we'll be watching out for business inventories at 10. I mean, so far, market's not giving us anything here of any significance in either direction. So maybe at 10, we can get ourselves a little bit of a pop. But so far, this kind of looks like a day where I'm not going to get early action. So I'm kind of just shooting the breeze. And I think there's like a fallacy with traders where a lot of us think that when I get there, I'm going to start doing X, right? Or I'm going to start doing Y, or I'm going to start doing Z. Like, oh, okay, when I'm red on a trade, well, once I get green on that position, now I'm going to start managing that risk, right? Or, okay, I'm not successful right now, but when I start getting a bit of a P&L hit, I'm going to start journaling those trades. Or if I, when I start to go into drawdown, I'm going to start to use hard stop losses. Like, there's always these excuses over doing things that are actually designed to help us out long term. And we put off, right, that decision just to make ourselves feel better because we don't want to confront ourselves, essentially, right? We don't want to do the dirty work that we're avoiding. I think some of the best, it's not necessarily trading advice, but business advice I've ever gotten is that you need to basically think about what is the thing that you're avoiding doing the most and then start doing that thing, right? Like, that's the thing that is holding you back. All right, so if I think about my trading, what is the thing that I'm trying to avoid the most? Most of the time, it's sitting on hands, right? Or going small position sizing on trades. So that should be the thing that I do the most, right? That should be the thing that I embrace. Because I'm a very firm believer that our brains don't try to do what is best for us. They try to do what is easiest. And by showing us what we don't want to do, we're actually kind of showing ourselves what is best for us to do and what we should do. So we are tremendous at solving our own problems when we can, like, Costanza our ability to understand what is going on. Okay, not outlier volume. A little bit better on NQ. But 3 minutes till market data, so I'm going to wait it out. I also would have preferred to have seen this close under 700, and it did not do so. Like one thing, right, I would say that the stream has been very helpful for me for is that it has kind of forced me to be, I don't know if vulnerable is the right term. I don't know if that's how I would describe it. But it forces me to be like radically transparent with my thoughts. Like I've kind of shut off my filter and I just basically say everything that comes to my head. And what that has been really good at showing me is those things that niggle at me, right? The things that bother me, the things that eat away at my mental capital. And at times, like I'm pretty embarrassed with some of the things that I say or some of the things that, some of the things that come out of my mouth, and not always thrilled, right, with how I present myself. But taking that leap into that radical transparency was something that I did not want to do. And in general, I would view myself as like a relatively introverted person. I don't, I'm pretty quiet. I keep to myself. I solve my own things in my own head, right? And with trading, that wasn't working, right? Or wasn't working as well. And so I decided to do the opposite of that, right? The thing that I was most afraid of doing. And so that's why I run things in the way that I do here. I've said it before, but I don't show you just the good. I also show you the highs, the lows, the ups, the downs, the struggle, the fight, the desire to want to improve. And I do that fundamentally for my own benefit, because I do think it makes me a better trader, makes me a better person. And I've learned a lot about myself through that process. But it was also a decision to do the thing that was most uncomfortable for me. All right, ES possibly setting up here. Okay, so watching this on the downside. I mean, NQ as well is technically in play. But I think I prefer ES here. So 927.50 as the stop loss. So need a decent pullback here to justify this. And as is, right, this would be a 2 or 3 contract play, not more than that. And then entry target here would be a retest of low of day. So 924.75. And if I don't get it, no big deal. I mean, NQ also giving me that same opportunity here. Let's see. Maybe a little bit paranoid. Still have the fake out. 60. I'd probably target 600, not 650. So 701 stop loss on on NQ. So 21 points, right? Give or take. That'd be one contract. Okay, so we're going to start looking for an entry here. See if I can get a little pullback. Just a little bit more. One around 80. Okay, a little bit too fast on that retracement above 80, right? Blasted through that level. Okay, better. Come on, come on. Okay, so back to watching ES here. Just could not get the entry I wanted. So stop loss, 920.75. Targeting, we'll say 910. Just gonna buy yourself time here, no rush. Let's see if it wants to fake out. There goes my 80 touch. And on an entry at 918.25, that would be 4 units, or 4 contracts. Don't have that information yet here to pull the trigger. Like to see it get stuffed, sell off, right, and then break down. You might have to change that stop loss. Yep, good decision. Same thing with the old ES, or sorry, the old NQ. Good decision. Okay, so now stop would have to be 923.25. Does a couple things, right? It means we have to size down and look for a deeper pullback. So entry now would have to be elevator down and then pull back into 920. And that would be 2 units at 920. 921, you could go 3. So now let's see if this thing can cooperate. Oh, son of a gun. Again, risk reward wise, I have to get an entry above 920, right? Have to. Mean. We can go 10 min potentially here as well, right? That could set us up for a slightly larger move. Same thing on the old NQ. NQ probably not going to get the volume. Okay, so on this 10 min, right, we are in play. And then we're targeting a move towards 904. Right, 2R. Man, that 80 entry on NQ would have been perfect. All right, 30 seconds to go here. Maybe NQ will also give us increasing volume. Let's see. Nice work. Hey, 425 bucks. Ain't anything to complain about. Well done. Okay. So which one's better here? I think NQ might be better. More room, right? That's why. Okay, so watching NQ here again. Stop loss 652. And again, we've seen it test stop losses, right? On our previous trade or on our previous set, we saw it test the stop loss and then break down. So what that means, right, is I'm going to wait to see it get stuffed here at this 52 or establish a new high and then sell off, right? And then once it sells off, my entry target will be like 643 or like 640, somewhere in that range. We still haven't really seen it test its high there yet. But we're in business. Okay, better. So let's see if it can test its high. And again, there's no reason for me to chase until I see those bulls fail, right? Because we've seen already fake out happen before on a shorter time frame. So I say it all the time, right? Markets are going to behave like they always have until proven otherwise. We need to see that behave like they always have, or we need to see that proven otherwise. We haven't seen that proven otherwise. So now, right, stop would be 659.75. And we're looking for a little pullback and retest, right, of previous low. Or a little breakdown and then pullback. Okay, so we're starting to look for an entry here. Nice work, Clark. Let's go. Again, 1 unit. Come on, come on. Gentle, gentle, gentle. Just didn't have the courage to pull the trigger at 40. Should have. See if they can retest. This isn't theoretically still a bad entry. Now it is. Golly Moses. Officer Krupke. All right, gentle pullback here. Gentle, gentle, gentle. Ah, come on. I had that 40 touch. I didn't pull the trigger. Okay, so watching again here. And I'm not chasing this, right? I'm not chasing this. If it's strong, it'll give me more than one chance to enter. So I'm fighting back against that FOMO, right? Okay, too fast of a pullback. Two units here, potentially. Now 1. Oh, that was mean. All right. Could I do something like this? 654 stop. Nice work, Steven. Could do this on the 15 min still. Bit punchy though of a stop loss. $52 stop, right? 52 stop. Okay, so still watching here, still watching. can't believe I missed that 680. That was my max pain. Yeah, I know. I just didn't have the courage to pull the trigger. Should have. Should have, would have, could have. So now looking for like 27.75. Nice work, Juan. Good job, team. Okay, maybe I could go aggressive this way. 626. I'm targeting 500 at this point. Okay, so again, watching short here. Retest of 611. Or 610.50. Come on. All right, guys, so I am in 610.50 short. One contract. And only one contract, right? One contract. Okay, and see if this thing can break down here under 600. Ooh. Decent bounce off of that. Okay, see if they can flush here. It's got to get under 6 and really flush. I didn't like the bounce off of 600 last time. So I'd like to see it flush here. I shouldn't say last time, the first time. Come on. There we go. See if it can crack here significantly. Let's go. All right. So let's see if this thing can keep breaking down here with some level of enthusiasm. And then we could possibly look to pyramid into a position here. But let's go here, team. This is in great shape. Really good shape here, guys. Let's see if this can keep going. Close above 600, and I will get out. So far, so good. That's 500. A few more. Come on. Come on. Come on. Nice work, Steven. I mean, you had a great entry, so I mean, you had a lot better of an entry on an earlier move, so no issues there. Okay, we're close. Nice work, Gabe. Don't do it, you lunatic. Bad feeling. Come on, come on. It's got to die here. Has to die. Yeah, that's a smart move, Steven. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, right? Have a long weekend. Breakfast margarita. Won't advise that, but... Come on. Come on. Get back under 90. We're close. Right on the skin. Come on. Last chance here. Last chance. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah, fair enough, Jeff. Let's go, Jenny. Great day. Congratulations. That's a big week for you, right? I feel like only I've been seeing positive P&L from you this week. Oh, I know. But I'm going back to my old memory bank, and it feels like every day's been a nice win. You've been crushing it. Let's go, Jenny. 3K on the week. That's fantastic. Okay, last chance saloon here. Come on. I think I got to close. Come on, come on, come on. Ah, it's not moving the way that I want. Fighting the greed. 604. Come on. Dump, dump, dump. 598. Man, this is a fight. Come on, come on. Oh, this is a test of patience. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm thinking about closing, though. I am thinking about closing big time. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm fighting on here. But letting this trade be up 20 points and then stopping me out would be like the worst feeling in the world. So it's like a mental capital stop loss more than anything else. 908 on ES isn't super convincing. So would love to see this thing get under 580. Doesn't want to. Come on, come on, come on. Break down, you socio. Gosh, it's so hard to trust price action this week. It is demons after demons. It's like, if you want, you know, if you feed the gremlins after dark, right, they cause chaos. If you feed the market Fed speakers after market open, it's pure chop. Nice work, TK. I think I have to close here too. It's so close. I feel a little bit damned if I do, damned if I don't. Which is the worst feeling as a trader. So, come on, give me a flush here. Come on, baby. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, I'm out. Close price 93. This thing might set back up here again, where I can maybe have another opportunity at an entry, but it's taking too long. And I hated the speed of that pullback. That did not feel good. Just did not like how much it's been fighting here at this 600. So we'll reset back up if we can get some separation lower. But it's too much work here to trust this. Like, I feel a little bit paranoid of getting faked out. Nice, Frodo. Congratulations. So now it's going to give me that 80 breakdown, of course. But if this thing keeps setting up, right, I'll have another chance. I was just so paranoid of it faking me out. I don't want to deal with that anxiety. Okay, it's going to be close. I mean, I think I should be able to trade this again here. So stop loss now, 79.50, right? Okay, so that's that little fake out higher. Now let's see if this thing can break down. And then entry target, right? Retest of that red line. Nice work, Topher. So now stop loss would be 81. Okay, good call, good call, good call so far. So now stop loss. 87.25. Again, still looking for a breakdown and then retest. Yup, almost 16. So, I mean, look, our plan from this morning pretty much nailed it. I mean, the pain on my end is missing that entry at 680. That was the winner chicken dinner today. Just didn't have the courage. The chop and slop of the market maybe kicked my butt a little bit, just like from a trust perspective. Okay, now at this point, I'm not going to be interested in that on the 3. So, probably should have been a bigger day than it was. But, I'll take it. It is what it is. Again, right, it's the quality of my process, not the quality of my P&L that I want to judge myself on. And all things considered, pretty happy with my process here still this week. I don't sound stupid, but... I haven't done anything that would cost me my ability to trade again tomorrow with a clear head, right? I've got that, you know, clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose, right? It's kind of the same thing with trading. If I keep that mental capital, I'll set myself up to be a lot more successful. Man, I can't believe I missed that 680 entry. Yeah. I said at the start of the day, Craig, that if my first trade is green for the day, I'm probably going to walk away. I don't know if I see anything here that tells me I should change that rule. And feels like every day this week I've gone into overtime. I don't know if I'm going to go into more overtime. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, you too, Craig. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, man. So, honestly, stoked with all your guys' P&Ls here this week. Jenny, 3K on the week. Fantastic work. TK, 500 bucks on the day. Topher, 800 bucks on the day. That's fantastic work, team. I think the fact that we survived this chop and we put ourselves in situations to still set ourselves up for big days, think that's something to be very, very proud of. And if you can survive this chaos this week, I mean, you can survive anything as a trader. Anything. So, really nice work this week, team. Really nice work. DTR guests, how'd your week go? Yeah, have a great weekend, Jenny. Really well done this week, Jenny. Really well done. You navigated that chop masterfully. Hey, a win's a win, Norm. It'll take some practice. Today, right, we had trending conditions here to the downside. So 3 for 3 count here to the downside. So we were looking for a trend continuation breakdown with a high vol breakout, right? So we did trending price action lower and then looking for a high vol breakout towards our secondary target, which was 2,500. Let's go, Kenneth. Awesome week. 2,100 bucks on the week. Fantastic. Yeah, no worries, Norm. It'll take a little bit of time just to kind of find your flow. But the more that you practice, the more you ask questions, you'll get there soon enough, man. You'll get there soon enough. Oh, I mean, this is set up here for sure. High vol breakdown through low of day is the setup, right? But I don't think I'm going to have the courage to go for, not the courage, that's the player term of describing it. I just don't think it's worth going for it. It's a good week. I'm not going to ruin anything here. So 1 for 1 on the day. I won't complain. Fuck. Cool. So any questions here, team? Any questions here? Yeah, you have a great weekend, Juan. Great trading today for you as well, man. You crushed it. $600 is fantastic work. So not bad. $6,500 your total on the week. Will not complain about that. All right, team. So final call for questions here. Final call for questions. All right, team. Final call here. Final call. All right, team. Well, if no further questions, I'm going to kill the stream here for the day. For those of you who are DTR guests, thank you very much for joining us here today. Hope you all had yourselves a fantastic trading day. DTR members, well done for fighting through, honestly, one of the hardest trading weeks here of the year, right? It was fake out city in general here. And yeah, glad to have been green. And glad to be sitting at near all-time highs, right, in portfolio. And yeah, will not complain about that, right? So well done here, everybody. Fantastic work to fight through the slog here today. And enjoy your weekends. Come back refreshed, recharged, and ready to go on Monday. And we'll keep absolutely crushing it here as we now start to have our first indication of true trending price action post-election. So more money to be made here as long as we keep focusing right on the variables that we can control. So have yourselves a great day, team. Looking forward to catching up with all of you here soon. And I'll see you all on Monday. Peace.